Hey y'all, it's Jen, and welcome to Taylor Swift Tag Tuesday. Yay! So this first tag video that I'm going to be doing is the original Taylor Swift book tag. It was created by The Book Life. She has unpublished this tag original video, so I will just leave a link to her channel down below, and go check her out. She's been around forever, and she's a great content creator. So before we dive into these tag questions, be sure and hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. I will be doing a Taylor Swift Tag Tuesday every day, or every Tuesday in the month of March, and you don't want to miss out on that because we've got some good tags. And if you think you're already subscribed, then just double check and make sure that YouTube hasn't unsubscribed you from my channel, because they have been doing that lately. Now let's get into the intro. So the first question is, it's going to reference a part of a song, and then I have the explanation with it. So it's a book that's in reference to the song We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together. And this is going to be a book that you were in love with, then you wanted to break up with it, and then you went back to it, and then in the end, you decided enough was enough. And so for me, that book is The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. When I first started this book, I was really enjoying it. I thought it had an interesting premises, and then it just continued to go downhill from there. But I kept listening to it, even though I was hating it. Then we would get to a part that I was like, okay, well maybe it's getting interesting again. But then it went downhill again, and the ending didn't work, and it was about 800 pages too long, and I just thought that we were going to get something out of the end of this book, and it was going to wrap everything up all nice and neat and make it all worth the hours I spent with this book, and it didn't, and I hated it, and I don't understand the hype with this book. Prompt number 2 is the song Red, and that is a book with a red cover. And for that, I'm going to talk about The Myth of You and Me by Leah Stewart. This is a book about friendship and friendship breakups, and how devastating losing your best friend, especially when you don't really know the circumstances behind why y'all are no longer friends. It just kind of ends abruptly. But after you distance yourself from it for a few years, even though you still miss your friend, you realize that maybe the friendship wasn't as good as you thought it was, and maybe it was a little toxic. There are not a lot of books about how to deal with the loss of a friendship, and I think that is equally important of a topic, because you can be equally heartbroken losing a friend as you can with a romantic partner. And I found this one to be very timely and very helpful at the time that I read it. The third song is The Best Day, and that is a book that makes you feel a little nostalgic. And for me, that is always going to be Peter Pan. This is a copy that one of my best friends did art on. This book is by J.M. Barrie, and the reason it is so nostalgic to me is that whole never wanting to grow up, the endless hopefulness of always being looking for your next adventure, and that wanderlust, and always looking at things through the child's perspective, whether that's a good thing or not, but always just kind of keeping that sense of adventure and hope and almost innocent outlook on life. And so I will always be nostalgic for this book. The next one is a love story, and this is a book with forbidden love. And what better book for this than Delirium, by Lauren Oliver. This book is entirely about how society has created and solved love and everything that comes with love. You are matched with someone that on through paper is just very much a good match for you, and it doesn't have anything to do with love or emotions or feelings. It's almost like a business transaction. And so when you turn 16, male or female, you get a shot, and that cures you, or a surgery, I think it's a surgery, that cures you of love. And you never have that feeling of emotions. And so you avoid all of the heartbreak and heartache and trauma that comes with falling in love or heartbreak or any of those things. It's an extremely interesting concept, and I really enjoyed the premise of those books. Song number 5 is I Knew You Were Trouble, and that is a bad character that you couldn't help but love. And for me, this is always a really hard prompt because I don't typically like the bad boy characters or the evil characters that are, even though they're morally gray, I am just not really drawn to that anymore. Except my love, Khalid, The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Audier. Khalid is such a misunderstood and just broken man, and I just want to comfort him and see the good in him. And he's just got a bad reputation. He's not a bad boy. He's not a murderous psychopath. He's just misunderstood, and I just adore him so much. Song number 6 is Innocent, and this is a book that you were spoiled for the ending of. And for me, normally I don't care about getting spoiled for the end of books, but I try very hard to not be spoiled. But Game of Thrones, I've been spoiled. I kind of know how it ends. I keep trying to avoid those spoilers because I'm only on the 3rd book. I've only read the first 3. I've never seen the series, and I just kind of want to keep it that way, and so I can meander along through these books as I get the hankering to read one. But I kind of know what happens, so I think it'll be fine. It's not going to be that big of a deal, but it's one that I would have rather not been spoiled for. Song number 7 is Everything Has Changed, and this is a book that the protagonist goes through an extensive character development. And I had a couple of these picked out, but I really think I want to talk about Bridge of Clay by Marcus Zusak. And in this, our main character, Clay, is a young boy who struggles with his father leaving and the reasons why, and his mother's death. And he goes through an extensive character change, building a bridge with his father. And I think it's just a wonderfully told story that interweaves together very amazingly, and in a way that only Marcus Zusak can tell. Song number 8 is You Belong With Me. Now, the actual prompt of this says the most anticipated book release of 2015, because this was originally created in 2014. So I'm amending that a little bit, and we're going to talk about my most anticipated book release of 2021. And that is Through the Neverwoods by Aiden Thomas. Aiden Thomas wrote The Cemetery Boys, which I absolutely adored. And his newest book, coming out in March 23rd to be exact, is Through the Neverwoods. And it is a retelling of Peter Pan. And I am such a Peter Pan fan. Peter Pan is my favorite classic. We've talked about that earlier. And I just cannot wait to read this retelling by Aiden Thomas. So I'm highly anticipating it, and I cannot wait for it to come out. And our final song prompt is Come Back, Be Here. And this is the book that you least want to lend out for fear of just missing it. Okay, battery died. The book that I would least like to lend out, because I would miss it too much if it never got back to me, would be the Lovers at Last by J.R. Ward. This book is like, I don't know, 7th, 8th, 9th in the series, but it is personalized and autographed by J.R. Ward. Right here. I have a book. Oh, I have a bookmark that stays in the book at all times. And this book wasn't supposed to be a book at all. This book features 2 characters that were only going to get a novella instead of a main storybook because they are queer characters, and the publisher did not think that the book would sell well. And they're 2 of my favorite characters. This book follows Quinn and Blaylock, and they're happily ever after. It's a vampire romance story, and of course Quinn and Blaylock are 2 of the most beloved characters, and a lot of the community of the Black Dagger Brotherhood series have been, we were really, what's the word? We were really campaigning for them to get their own dedicated book and not just a novella. But again, like I said, the publisher and the author was a little concerned that maybe the people would not pick this book up to read based on if it was one of the main series, and so they wanted to pull it out and do it as a novella that you didn't have to read to continue on with the series. And we won, and we got our own full novel, and I am so happy about it. Like I said, it was a highly anticipated book. When it came out, we didn't know that it was going to be a book. We thought it was just going to be a novella, and we were blessed with a full 600-page book of greatness. And so as soon as they announced it, I pre-ordered a copy that I got to have, like I said, personalized and autographed, and it is a treasure of book for me. So that's it. That is my Taylor Swift book tag, and I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know down below if you've done this tag. Like I said, it's been around 4 years. It was originally put out in 2014, and I know a lot of the bigger booktubers that they're now the bigger booktubers, but they were just part of the community back then. I know a lot of them have done this tag, and I'm super excited to see your thoughts on it as well. Let me know down below if you've done it so I can check it out, and if you haven't done it, then consider yourself tagged. If you're a Taylor Swift fan and you're watching this video, I want you to do this tag. Let me know down below that if you're gonna do it so I can watch for your video to come out. And with that said, if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, give me a thumbs down. That's fine too. That lets me know what kind of videos that you enjoy watching of mine. And what you're going to see on the screen now is going to be a playlist of some past tag videos that I've done, and also just a video that YouTube thinks you would enjoy of mine. So hopefully they've picked out a good one. You'll have to let me know in the comments. And besides that, until next time, I really appreciate you watching, and I will talk to you later. Bye now.